Welcome to the channel, folks. So today's video is going to be covering this benchtop review of the Dehan 16-inch cordless lithium-ion chainsaw. And they sent me this product here to review and give my honest opinion and to use on my property and to let them know and let you guys know how this chainsaw here does. Now, I've already made a video on the smaller version, which is the 6-inch. I've used this over the past couple months, and I really enjoy having this smaller version handheld chainsaw, available to use while trail maintenance, property maintenance, and cutting down limbs and things on the property. So this came in handy. I'll link the video to this in the cards on the upper right. So check that out if you want to check out this. But I will be comparing how this does compared to something a little bit bigger and why you would need something a little bit bigger. So like I said, the cordless, option on these things is great because you can use them indoors. You don't have to worry about fumes and smoke and smelling like oil, like two-stroke oil and gas. If you plan on using these indoors, like to make a quick cut or trim something down like firewood, which is what I use something like this for, this is great because electric means no fumes and easy to use and quiet, okay? You don't need earplugs to operate these things. So you still need safety equipment, but you don't necessarily need earplugs, which is great. I can operate these things with less PPE. But let's get into the 16-inch. So when I first got it, it came disassembled, okay? I went ahead and assembled it as you see it here. It came with 2 batteries, so you need both batteries in order for this thing to operate. I did have to assemble the actual chain brake. So when you have it forward, the chain brake is on, and then when you want to go and cut something, you click it back, and then now you can go ahead and press the trigger, which has a 2-stage trigger. You press this side button first, which unlocks it and then allows you to press the trigger. So I'm going to go ahead right now and operate this thing so you can see kind of the speed that it operates at. So that is actually pretty damn quick. So it's got a lot of RPMs in the chain itself. So that should lend itself to do a lot of work and relatively quickly and provide a nice quick cut. So this has all the features as a normal, gas-powered chainsaw, but with the convenience of it being quieter and a little bit lighter, okay? This is not the lightest chainsaw, not as light as this nice little handheld guy here, which is nice, okay, for smaller stuff. But this here I'm going to put through the test. I will include clips at the end of the video of it actually in use and then my final opinion at the very end of the video. But right now we're just going to quickly go over the features and, the saw itself in a brand new state. So one thing I will tell you, I really wish that I had more batteries, okay? Through operating this guy here, I noticed that okay, these come with 2 batteries as well. So the handheld, the smaller 6-inch. But what I noticed is that I needed 2 more batteries in rotation so me and my wife could keep on working, while we had 2 batteries charging. So if you have an extra set of batteries for this guy, it's going to be great because I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but we'll find out. I'll put it through the paces over the next month, using it on the trails, cutting firewood, cutting branches, cutting down small trees, which is this should handle small trees because we have a 16-inch blade on this, saw blade. So that should be more than sufficient than cutting down small trees. This is going to be great. I'm going to put it to use. One thing I really like about this saw that you might not notice is that the way it adjusts the tension on the blade, the chainsaw blade. Now, this is freaking genius because this is a toolless adjustment. This is awesome, okay? Basically, you loosen this handle here, and then you can go ahead and turn this dial, this knob, okay, that has splines on it. You turn this, and it basically has an eccentric adjustment to tighten the chain itself on the chainsaw. This is awesome. I wish more saws had this because as you're cutting, as you know, the chain will stretch, it will become loose, and then you have to go readjust. And usually you need a tool for that to make adjustments and adjust your chain tension. This right here is on the fly and toolless, which is awesome. I'm really looking forward to using this feature because, like I said, as you're processing firewood, as you're processing trees or branches, this is going to loosen up on you just because the nature of the chain is going to get, stretched. So I really enjoy this right here. Like I said, it comes with 2 batteries that were already pre-charged, fully charged. And you can see that you can check the life of the battery here, right on the battery, as well as there's a digital display right here on the screen of the chainsaw. So as you're into the throttle, and then after you let go, you'll see the resting kind of percentage of battery life left. But that's good to know because as you operate it, you can see that light up in blue, okay? And then it'll show what's left over, which 92%, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead now and fully charge this. Oh, one last thing. Touching on the oil fill up. So we have a reservoir here for oil. So you put your bar chain oil in here, fill it up. And then on top of here, there's a little dial. Okay, so right here, you can adjust for more oil production or less oil production for the chain itself. So as you operate it, you'll get a feel for how much oil you need. If you need more oil or less oil, depending on what you're doing, you can go ahead and adjust the oil. On this here, it was a manual pump. So you have this bulb at the top that you press down at the top of the res on the cap, and that would feed oil manually. There was no other adjustment for that. Okay, so it was a manual oil type adjustment. This here is automatic as long as you have your setting set correctly here. So, like I said, I really wish I had 2 more batteries for this. I only have 1 unit. When they sent me this guy here, I actually received 2 units, so I had 4 batteries in total. That way I was able to rotate out 2 batteries and charge them because this thing only needs 1 battery, and I had 4 batteries on tap. So when you're operating 2 of these smaller saws, if you had 2 in rotation, you could basically keep on going, which was the case with me and my wife. We would, we were taking care of some maintenance out back on in the woods, and we're opening up an area. So we're clearing an area, trimming all the small stuff first, and we were able to keep on going with this. As long as I had 2 batteries charging and we had 2 batteries outside in use, we kept on going for pretty much the whole day, okay? So I'm really happy with this. Check out my review on this. Like I said, I'll link it in the upper right on the cards. But this is the 16-inch chainsaw from Dehan. This is the box that it comes with, just to show you guys really quick. It came really nicely packaged, really professional packaging. This is the model number. We have a DCS-0692. Okay, there's a 2 at the end of there. It's a 1500 watt, 23,000 RPM per minute, chainsaw rotation, motor speed. And like I said, it's a 42 volt. This smaller one is a 21 volt. But one nice thing to know is that when you take these batteries out, these smaller ones fit in here, okay? Obviously, it's not gonna last as long, but now you got an even more lightweight unit, and it does operate the saw. So that works there. If you have the smaller Dehan batteries, they have the same footprint, and they hook right up, just like that. So that's one good thing about it. There's some interchangeability, which I like. So I'm gonna go ahead now and put this thing through the paces, and then I'll give you guys some clips following up to the next segment here, and then at the very end will be my summary of the tool, and then maybe later down the road I'll have a further 1 year or 2 year review on this product. So let's go ahead and check out this thing in use. Okay guys, so we're gonna give this its first cut on this big log here. This is like a tree trunk that I have laying around. I want to cut it up into pieces so I can put it in a fire pit. And we're gonna try out the Dehan 16-inch cordless chainsaw here. So I want to fill it up with oil, with the bar oil. As I'm running it, I cannot see a lot of oil being produced on the guide. Okay, I'm just like picking it up to see if it's oiled. It seems like it has like a light coating of oil, but I cannot tell if it's but I cannot tell if it's fully covered in oil or not. So I'm gonna run it. I have the switch all the way to the increase oil production side, which is towards me, and we got full batteries, and we're gonna give this thing a try. And that broke off. Okay. All right, let's just try to operate this thing just like that. We'll toss that to the side for now, so we can still use that with our fingers, so that's good. That's good to know. Anyways, let's go ahead and cut this log up and see how she does. The bar is smoking. Okay, this is all wet, so it could be because of the damp nature of the log. All right, let's check out to see if we have oil on the bar. It's kind of warm. I don't really see oil coating the actual teeth on the guide. Okay, let's keep on cutting. I'm gonna go ahead and keep on cutting this. I'm gonna do a few more cuts, but as you saw, that cut pretty good. This is like a 13-inch diameter log, you know, typical stuff you're gonna see. Still solid on the inside. The 1-inch layer on the outside is kind of soft, but you get the idea. So the saw does cut really nice. It feeds, kind of self-feeds into the wood, and it's doing a job as a chainsaw, so I can't knock it for that. But this here did break on me as I was using it, the actual chain break. But it's good that I can still operate that without the handle on top. Okay, so there it is. Got the whole log cut up, tree trunk, and let's see what we got here for battery. We're still at 100%. Says 95 on the readout, and on the batteries themselves it says all 4 bars. Okay, so let's go in the workshop now, and I want to give you my initial impressions of this thing. But first task, project for the saw, all done. I'm just going to push this into the fire pit pile here. That way I can burn these up. But let's go check it out. All right, guys, so there you saw the saw in action, our first project, first cut with this 16-inch Dehan chainsaw. And yes, the chain brake handle did snap right off, right at the tab that you mount it on. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the saw. It just came right off. It just snapped the plastic. It is what it is, okay? So I'm gonna give you an honest review of this. But overall, the saw still has a lot of power. Okay, we have full battery on that one little task or project I just did. And it looks like there is, I'm gonna do this really carefully, but it looks like it does have oil. Okay, so at first I was a little bit worried that it wasn't oiling the bar, and it is oiling the bar because I can pull it away now and I can see the oil in the channel and on the teeth that are right in the channel. So I was a little worried at first because I couldn't see the oil. Maybe it was just it was so clean that I just couldn't see it. But there is in fact oil being passed through the bar, and that is good to go. But this is still able to operate without that handle, which is good to know. Okay, so we can push that and pull it in to operate the saw. As you see it here, I didn't clean it off. It's still dirty from being used. I just want to come right in and do the final summary on it. But I really liked the balance of the saw. Okay, it did the job. It still cuts well. You know, it's not a heavy chainsaw, so you can't expect a lot from a lightweight chainsaw, I should say, because the weight of the saw usually will do the cutting. This was self-feeding in a way, but you know, not as self-feeding as a big full-size 20-inch. But it's definitely handy. I will be using it for like cutting up firewood, small little projects like this. It'll be great on the homestead, and you know, as well as when I need to cut something or shorten some firewood indoors here in the garage. Because as it passes through the house, if I find a piece that's a little bit too long and I don't want to pull out the gas-powered chainsaw and do the whole setup and get the helmet, I can do a quick cut with this or the 6-inch that I have as well. The 6-inch works really well for small cuts, and this one would too. But one little downside I think is that it uses 2 batteries versus 1. I really would like to have an extra set of batteries so I could keep on going. You know, if I had a little bit slightly bigger project, like an actual tree to cut, you'd want at least another set, okay, that's charging while you're also using 2 of them on the chainsaw. And I want to touch on something else, some of the things that came with the saw and to begin, you know, in the box. So let me grab those. So this right here is what comes with it. You get safety glasses, a manual, a little brush for cleaning, and a tool to make adjustments. Okay, Phillips head. So that's something that comes with it that I just want to mention. But I really enjoy this saw because of its, you know, cordless ability. It doesn't make a lot of noise, as you heard in the video clips. It doesn't, you know, it's not very loud, so you don't need ear protection. And I like this here, how you can adjust the tension on the chainsaw without tools. So it's a toolless design when it comes for chainsaw adjustment for the tension. But really nice. You know, I like how it's, you know, it's kind of lightweight, it's well balanced, and it does the job, you know, small jobs just fine. So if you have any other questions, I want to encourage you to leave them down below the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so. I want to thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more tool reviews and garage and workshop videos. I'll see you on the next one.